Good morning everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day, and today we're going to be talking about the elusive oboe. Yes, an orchestral instrument belonging to the woodwind section. The oboe is really quite famous for its very mournful, very lyrical tone, very thin, and it's also known for tuning the orchestra with its decisive A. But before we get into what the oboe is and how it works and what kind of sound it has, let's first get into its anatomy. You have to excuse me for that. So let's first get into its anatomy. Alright. So as you can see, I've got a picture of an oboe up here, right about here. This is what an oboe looks like. So it is indeed made out of wood. That's why it belongs to the woodwind section. And it looks something like this. Let's break it down top to bottom. And before I break it down, let me mention this is a wind instrument. So that means that you make a sound by blowing into it. It's not like a string instrument where a string is vibrating. No, you blowing into this instrument for creating a sound. How the sound is created is something we're going to get into in just a moment. So first thing, up here we have something called a double reed, and this is, I actually enlarged it and placed it right over here. So a double reed is a type of reed. Now reeds are small pieces of cut wood which are used in wind instruments like the oboe, and of course are also used in the clarinet and the bassoon and even the saxophone. It's not really strictly speaking a woodwind instrument, but it is used there nonetheless. What these reeds really do is they're responsible for creating the sound in a woodwind instrument. Though I'll get into how that works later. But as for the structure, it looks something like this. There are two pieces of cut wood which are kept in sort of a crevice form like this, right? And you blow into them. In this hole, you blow there, and that is a reed. And it's very important. You can't play the oboe without a reed. I think that goes without saying. So yes, we'll get into why this reed is like that and what it does in a moment. But right now, this is what it looks like, and that's the purpose it serves, to create the sound that the oboe has. Okay, great. Now we move on. We have sort of three sections of the oboe here. This part, that's the upper section. That's because just like most woodwind instruments, the oboe actually breaks up into multiple joints, so it's easier to store, and a couple of other reasons as well. So this is the upper section, and this is the lower section right here. So upper section, lower section, and this is the bell. Now once again the bell. So let's go one by one. Upper section is, this has a bunch of keys on it, as you can see, key. This looks very convoluted, but the places where you actually place your fingers are not that numerous, right? So this is responsible for having keys and making up the length of the oboe. The lower section, similar, it makes up the length of the oboe and it has all the keys necessary to produce the sound. Now the bell is where the sound exits the instrument. It's curved outwards, so the sound will move in such a fashion and it will become slightly more, it'll be more powerful. And so that's the bell. That's where the sound exits from here and there. Those are the three main structures, and of course you have the keys. Now the anatomy of an oboe is actually quite simple, really. So that's really all that there is to the anatomy of an oboe. For those of you wondering how an oboe is played, it's played like this, where you purse your lips like this, and the reed goes inside those pursed lips. As you can see here, it comes out in front. Its oboe is about this tall, for those of you who are wondering, and it looks like this. This is what an oboe looks like whilst it's being played. Great. Now let's come back to the oboe. Well, I've already talked about its anatomy, so now I'm going to talk about how it creates a sound. Now you might think about when you blow, there's not much sound coming from that, right? So how does this blowing into a weird pipe? I mean, that's a really sacrilegious thing, calling an oboe a weird pipe. But how does blowing into this instrument create sound then, right? Of course, an oboe is not a weird pipe. I don't know why I said that. How does blowing into this create a sound? Well, that has to do with the reed, and now let's come to that. So a reed is, as I said, was two. In this case, it's something called a double reed, because it has two pieces of cut wood which are like this, which make a crevice like this. When you blow into this double reed the correct way, these pieces of wood vibrate back and forth, right? These pieces of wood vibrate very, very fast, and they vibrate. That vibration is what creates the sound of an oboe. So that piece of wood vibrating, when you put it through a pipe, it actually generates the sound of the oboe. So the fact that this reed is vibrating is what creates the sound. If you took out the reed and just tried to blow into the rest of the oboe, you would just not get anything. You'd be like how it normally be. The reed is what's creating the sound of the oboe because the wood is vibrating. And one interesting fact about reeds is that you have to always wet them. That means you have to always wet them with your saliva. And this is a double reed. There's also a single reed. This one reed which has two pieces of cutwood like this, and oboists, which are the people who play oboe, often have to cut their own reeds. That means they have to take wood, they have to cut it in the shape and tie it up. They have to create this themselves. That's you'll often find oboists doing that. So that's good to know. Okay, now let's come into once again how. So I know how the oboe makes sound, how they manipulate the sound, what are these key tools. Well, as I mentioned in my flute video, the basis upon which all wind instruments really work is that if you force air to go through a short distance in a pipe, it's going to create a high sound. Whereas if you make it go through a long distance in a pipe, make it go through a long distance before it exits in a pipe, it's going to create a lower sound. So a very simple concept. Shorter pipe, higher sound, longer pipe, lower sound. You can just check this out with any piece of plumbing you have. Not that I recommend putting plumbing in your mouth. So that is a system that this makes use of. So when you're similar to a lot of other wind instruments, right? When you're not pressing any keys, the air is very quickly escaping from the first few keys, like this, right? Because they're open, they're holes, right? So the air is going to escape from the nearest hole. So it very quickly escapes from the nearest keys, these keys. And when you press down more and more keys, you're essentially making air go through more and more distance before it can exit. And if you press all the keys, you can go all the way through the instrument, and that would ideally be the lowest note. And that's how the flute works essentially. That's how the oboe works. That's how the clarinet works. That's how the bassoon works. That's how all woodwind instruments work essentially. The ones which have keys. Great. That's how the oboe anatomy, how it makes sound. Now let's move on to the oboe's position in the orchestra. Now the oboe is very, very famous for having a very, very lyrical and mournful and sort of sustained and thin tone. It's very difficult to, most tones of instruments, very difficult to put into words. You should hear it yourself. But it's very, very lyrical, as I said, very, very mellow, very mournful, and very thin. So it's not a thick tone, to say the least. No, it's definitely not a thick tone. Like, a double bass or cello would have a thick tone. No. This is a very thin tone. And the thin tone actually makes it very good for playing melodies. So the oboe is often called upon for solos. You'll often find lots of solos in orchestral work. So the oboe can contribute to the rest of the orchestra by being, sort of adding on, just like the flute is supporting, it adds its own tone and supports the strings, right? The woodwind is there to support the strings most of the time. So that's what it does. The oboe is very good at supporting the strings. But in addition to that, the oboe is also good at its own melodies. And oboes often play solos, that's where, or cadenzas, where the entire orchestra stops and only the oboe is playing. Once again, the entire orchestra stops and only the oboe is playing. That happens quite a bit with oboe, and oboe is one of the most instruments that are most frequently called upon for solos. That's one thing to keep in mind. So in general, like most woodwind instruments, it's very good at playing melodies, right? And can play a lot of solos. And when the woodwind section is playing the main melody, it helps a lot. But overall, it's the overall orchestral tone is much more of an accompaniment instrument. It supports the strings with its own tone, makes the music much more colorful and much more whole. So that's the oboe. Now, when it comes to woodwind ensembles, it's also usually there quite often and has a similar role in woodwind ensembles. And as a solo instrument, it also has quite a bit of its own solo repertoire. Oboe has quite a bit of solo repertoire. That being said, that's all that there really is to oboe. It has a very decisive, it has a very distinctive sound, and as I said, it is what's used to tune the orchestra. The oboe's A is what's used to tune the orchestra. So that's one more thing to keep in mind. It's a very important instrument in the orchestra just because of that decisive tone that it has, and I personally like it quite a bit. That being said, I'm not an oboist. I don't play oboe in the orchestra, and neither do any of. We actually don't have an oboe in our school orchestra, so I unfortunately can't provide you with an interview there. So I encourage you, if you're really curious to hear about the oboe from oboist, there are many videos such as the All-Star Orchestra video or the Philharmonia video talking about oboist, talking about an oboe. But anyways, that's been all from my side. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you gained something valuable from it. And I'll see you next video. Thank you very much. Until next time.